Do you struggle to build influence within your brand? Today, we are talking to top brand strategist Julie Burke on how to leverage your brand and create influence to build audience and sell more. This is episode number 6 of Entrepreneur SOS. This podcast is designed to help entrepreneurs using systems, organization, and structure to build more profitable business. Julie, I'm so excited to have you here. Julie is a multi-passionate lifestyle entrepreneur, online business strategist, and top network marketing leader who specializes in empowering entrepreneurs to find their voice while also providing online business growth strategies. Her magic is helping others create unforgettable brand and clarity around their business model that works for them, creating impact marketing business systems, and is key to having what she believes multiple passive income streams. So excited to have you here today, Julie. You are one of my buddies. I absolutely love you. You are such a brilliant mind when it comes to branding and marketing. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to our listeners today.
Oh, I appreciate it, Monique. Thank you. And thank you, Sandy, as well for having me.
Absolutely.
Very excited.
Welcome.
Yeah, this is
Super
like
excited
a
to meet
newer
you too.
podcast for you guys. So I'm honored and blessed to be one of the very first.
Yes,
cool.
Absolutely. So let's kind of start off with the idea, because branding, I think for so many is just like their mind blows up. Like, how do I do it? What do I do? And I think they overcomplicate it, but then I also think they do a lot of things wrong. Like, I know when I first met you and we had conversations, I was not doing things right. So what are some of the things that you're seeing out there that a lot of women entrepreneurs and solo entrepreneurs are doing in their branding that are just like, oh gosh, I wish they would take a look at what they're doing and maybe steer the boat a different way?
Yeah. So one thing about branding is where people, I think that they overthink their brand, because a brand is personal to them, that they're like, they put like so much pressure on themselves that they have to get it right. And to be honest, as an audience starts to grow and develop, your brand will take shape. Your audience will start to tell you like what they want from you, what kind of content they want from you. But branding is the bedrock to building an online business. And so if you are selling, network marketing products, or you're selling courses, or you're selling high ticket coaching, right? If you're selling anything on social media, you have to have a brand. And a brand is not spamming. A brand is not, hey, just throwing my links out there and just hope marketing, hoping someone buys or hoping someone does anything. Like, no, a brand is really you showing up, and it's more of a feeling. Like, yes, there's many things to branding. There's like your brand assets, there's the aesthetic, like how it all looks, and that's all fine and dandy, right? But people aren't buying your color or your logos. People are buying you. They want you. So I feel like it's what you project onto others and how you want to make them feel, and also how you want to be perceived. And so an example is when I came online with my brand, I've been in network marketing since 2012, and in 2016 I like felt this itch. Like I wanted to just be me. Like, I'm not my company, I'm not my products. I'm Julie. And I wanted to break away from that a little bit. And I also wanted to start building some other income streams, because I didn't want to put my eggs all in the network marketing basket, if you will. And so I wanted to diversify. And so I'm like, okay, my mentor said to me, well, yes, you want to figure out your target market, and saying, well, I'm just talking to women. It's kind of not enough sometimes, you want to go a little bit deeper with that. But she said, well, how do you want people to feel when they see you or when they hear you? And I said, well, like describe it in 3 adjectives. And I said, well, authentic, always authentic. I mean, ever since I was a little girl, I remember I always shot it straight. My dad would come up to me and be like, do I look big in these pants? And I'm like, yep, take them off. Like
one of the things I love at you.
I love that.
I think we have that commonality.
Yeah.
A little brutally honest sometimes. There's something to be said about that, right?
But I'm a straight shooter, and people that know me online, they know like I'm no BS, right? And so that is the authenticity of who Julie is, right? Like they know they're going to get it straight, you know, if they're going to come to me. So authentic, trustworthy, right? Because obviously we want people to know that they can trust us. I mean, especially if we're going to have them buy for us, we don't want to be selling them crap, right? Or offering them something that's not going to better their life. Integrity, huge. That's huge in my world. And then fun, because I also like to have fun, because the whole point of running an online business, as we all know, if you're an entrepreneur, there is no day that is the same day. Each day is a roller coaster. Sometimes we want to pull our hair out, and sometimes we're cheering, you know, we have our wins. So it's like you have to, I wanted to keep it light and fun for people, because I know that entrepreneurs and business owners can get frustrated. They can get down on themselves. They will get the negative chatter in their mind, you know? And so those were just some of the adjectives I wanted people to feel when I was showing up with my brand. And when you're showing up with your brand, how is that? It's your content, because your content is the glue that's going to hold whatever it is that you're leading people to, whatever you're selling, and your brand, right? I always say, like, that's how you do it. If you're showing up on social media, it's the content. So spamming content or just throwing out links is not really bettering someone else's life. Like, why should they buy from you, right? They could buy from a million other people, but why you? So you have to start thinking like that. You have to start thinking like the business owner, right? And you have to start thinking and putting like your marketing cap on. So there's the spamming, there's vague posting, you know, just posting content to post content. So copy and pasting other people's content, it's not going to work. It is not going to work. I know you might think she's over here having success. Well, she's over here having success because she's building a personal brand, right? And so taking care of content and thinking you're going to post it and going to, you know, have a lot of people flow in like maybe she did, that's not going to be the case, because it's not in your true authentic voice.
Exactly. I was going to say it. You're
It's
missing
not in
the
alignment.
authentic voice that's
Authenticity,
coming
yeah.
from you, right?
Right.
So somebody can read. I feel like people can read through the BS, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, that doesn't sound like her.
Right.
Well,
And
it's out of alignment, right? It's out of
yeah,
alignment because it's not what you're just regurgitating and it's not who you are.
I
Makes total
mean,
sense.
listening to you, and I think people, I mean, I think one of the things that when we've chatted and I've had a lot of conversations with you around branding, I think one of the things that really stuck in my mind is you started to teach me branding, and I started to understand branding it wasn't about me, it was about building the relationship of me to my audience.
right.
And
Exactly.
that was like, whoa, I had like a major like boom, like it's not about selling my product, it's about building a relationship between my audience or the people that I want to speak to, or you want to speak to, or an entrepreneur wants to speak to, and themselves. So I think that that's super key
So
because I
can
think a
I
lot of
actually have a
people will
question
copy and
around that?
paste. What? I'm
Yeah.
If
sorry.
a question around that, so you speak to an audience, do you then, because this is such a topic that's always talked about, niche. So do you niche down the audience and then talk to that audience, or how do you speak to your audience? Like, do you niche it, or how do you go about that?
No, I niche down what I do, and then the right audience finds me.
Can you explain
Gotcha.
that a little bit? Because I think that is such a key thing, because we're, so many of these gurus out there like niche down, niche down, niche
Yeah.
down. And I think people get stuck then in creating any content because they're like, am I speaking to my perfect avatar? And it's like, then they don't put any content out, or they put the wrong content out that isn't authentic to who they are. So
Yeah.
can you talk about that? Because I think that's just a pivotal thing that people are not getting right now.
Okay. So you have someone that, okay, this would be a niche. So if you're a psychologist and you are, you know, like you are helping and you are speaking to those that are actually going through trauma, through mental health issues, and you know, and these challenges, and you know that that is your focus. That is who you help. You know how to get them to point A to point B, right? Like you move them along. That's one thing. Okay. So that's one end of the spectrum of someone that could like really niche into a market. They're helping somebody that's going through trauma. They are a psychologist, right? And they're helping this person, this specific person. or there's me where, you know, what I do and what I have to offer can be for coaches, small business owners, local business owners, online entrepreneurs, because what I do is funnels. I help people systematize and automate their business for more passive revenue, right? Or I'll help someone to create their own online program or course, if that, right? It's like, so I might have multiple offers that help multiple different audiences, but yet my main leadway into what I offer is my funnel shop, my pre-made, pre-built funnels for coaches, consultants, online business owners, right? So I'm niching more of what I do. And hey, if you need systems and automation and you want a pre-built funnel, or I could create a custom funnel, right? Like, let's help you to start creating some tools into your business, some systems into your business. So like, that's what I mean. Like, that's
So
two
you're
different.
speaking to the message of what you do versus to the
Yes,
person of what you do. I think
exactly.
that's so brilliant, because I mean, there are some people, like you said, they're very niche, like they're a therapist
Yeah.
talking to this person. We get that. But a lot of people as entrepreneurs, they have kind of a big audience in a way. And what they do could help several different niches per se. But
Right.
speaking to what you do versus who you do can really bring in your target market. I mean, I think that's a brilliant strategy. And by
Yeah.
the way, guys, Julie has a free business automation blueprint at thefreedomdesigner.com. We'll also link all that information in the show notes. I highly suggest that you grab it. She's got amazing content. So, Sandy, is that kind of mind blowing for you? Because I think for so many of us, we've heard the opposite, right?
Absolutely. And that's
Oh,
why I
yeah.
asked the question, because and that makes so much more sense, because it's like, what niche? Well, this works for, you know, everybody, but not that we want to market to everybody, but it's so true. And this makes total sense. Be in alignment with you are, and you're gonna and offer what you have to offer and attract who's gonna know, like, and trust you, right, at some point, and come to you. So that makes total sense.
Yeah. And I want to say, like, and I know a lot of people when they show up and they're, you know, because one of the things when you are showing up online and you know that you do want to build a brand, it is to go and see what others are doing, but it's your market research, it's the evaluation. It's not for envy, it's not for competition. Listen, competition is good. Competition is a good thing. But you look at it from different angles of, okay, how can I be different? Or how can, you know, how can I be better? How can I do this in a different way? And then you look at what their audience is asking them and what they're wanting. Like, you have to do that little investigation process up front to just see. But what I wanted to say about the branding piece is branding, if I could just say it like this, branding is giving your business a soul. It's giving your
Ooh,
business a
branding is
soul.
giving your business a
I
soul.
like
That's
that.
something I've
There
I
you
always told
like
go. That's a
that.
people.
tagline.
And so but that's where everything stems from, right? And so when you understand this, selling becomes irrelevant. Like, you know, you look at some of these people that have these, okay, if you're going to go on a big, huge, grand scale of brands, you're looking at, you know, the Kardashians, or you're looking at, you know, Rihanna, or you're looking at Beyonce. Like, these women, there's Taylor Swift. There's like a line of people waiting for their, like, they want to buy. People want to buy. But you have to have the brand. If they have, and you don't have to have it on that scale of influence, my gosh, right? But you have to give your business a soul. You have to humanize your brand. People have to know you. And how do they get to know you? It's by showing up, creating really relatable, really valuable content, and being a good person and letting them know that, you know, you're there to help them along their journey. This is what you have to offer.
So, like, light bulb moment, like you just said, relatable, valuable content. So, like, thinking Taylor Swift, like that size, she writes songs for women who have had their heart broken, and she takes them along that journey. That is her brand. I mean, that's how she built her whole brand, right? That was the beginning of it.
But
And
what
so
does she
she just
also
made all
do?
these, she wasn't about selling her songs at first. She was about writing her songs that were her life journey. So, and she influenced people that way.
But she also calms down, because what does she do on her social media?
She talks to her fans.
Communicates with them.
Yeah,
Talks
it's
to her
brilliant.
fans. She invites fans over to her house before she releases her record, like to get their feedback. I mean, that is insane. So it's because she builds that relationship with her fans, that her fans will like walk over fire for
They'll pay
her. I mean, or pay
$19,000 for a ticket.
$19,000 for a ticket, right? So
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
yes, $19,000. It was this whole thing
Wow.
with
It's a whole
Ticketmaster.
Ticketmaster scam
Oh
thing,
my
whatever.
gosh. So,
Crazy.
but like I said, let's not highlight so much of, oh my gosh, ooh, what does my brand have to be? No, just show up and just start creating content that aligns with you, because it's not just what your audience wants. You have to be in alignment with what you're sharing with your audience. You have to understand your core values. You have to understand, what you stand for, and plant your flag in that and be okay with that. And again, you're going to repulse some people. It's okay. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and you don't want that either. You don't want to speak to everybody and anybody. And so just know that up front, right? It happens to all of us. You're not going to be for everybody. But you also want to know what you want and what you don't want. What type of people do you want following you, and what type of people do you not want following you? Because I'm telling you right now, you want to use empowering language, and you want to create content and create social posts that doesn't have you play the victim role. And yes, it's good to be vulnerable, but not to the point where you're a hot mess, right? Show up, be vulnerable, but also come with a teachable moment for your audience so they can connect with that. So they can say, oh, I've been through that too. And then you're helping them with giving them the steps of how you've overcome something. Or if you're still going through it, you're just being open and honest with them and letting them know, like, hey, it's not always, sunshine and roses, but you know what? I'm committed to getting through this. And if you're going through this too, I know you have the strength as well. You could get through it. We could get through this together, or whatever it might be. I'm just throwing out words right now, but you have the people that show up that cry wolf just to cry wolf, and it drives me insane. And you could tell when those are forced posts, when they are just going out and airing their dirty laundry, and it doesn't really like lead people to somewhere, or lead people to a better feeling. So, is someone cutting their lawn? You hear that?
Outside.
Yeah.
So funny.
It's okay.
So let me ask you this. If some of our listeners may listen to this and we're like, wow, total light bulb moment. Where would you recommend somebody that's say, okay, I'm in network marketing and I'm done, like you just said, representing the company. I want to show up as me. Where would you recommend somebody who's completely new and wants to start? Where would you start?
Well, listen, my social media has always been Facebook. That's where I feel most comfortable. That's where I feel like my age group, my demographic is. I've tried several times to get on TikTok. I just do not jive with that platform. I have tried Instagram. I post on Instagram. I somehow have about 6,000 followers on Instagram, not bought, by the way. I don't know how I have that, but I do. But I've never made one sale from Instagram. It's like rocket science to me. So when I started online, and I was taught from day one in my network marketing business, curiosity marketing wins all the time. I was taught from day one how to do it right. So I was like, okay, create curiosity, create curiosity. And so I literally would just start showing up and speaking into my voice, sharing through curiosity, showing my lifestyle, showing my kids, and that I was a mom and that I had a freedom-based business, right? Sharing testimonials, sharing stories, because stories is what connects to a deeper level with people, and also asking people how I can help them. oftentimes people don't actually take the initiative to ask, how can I help you? How can I support you on this journey? This has been my story. I would love to be able to help somebody else. So like there's several ways, obviously, showing up. There's something called brand pillars, and those are the things that you want to write down and jot down some ideas of what you could create content around. So if you are all about health and wealth, like those are your two things, right? You want to create some like umbrella. Health and wealth is a big, huge topic. So what can you share about health and what can you share about wealth? So you might create, some content around, my top 5 ways to detox without killing yourself. My 3 ways I've been able to lose the belly fat. And 2 of them is like something else that you have figured out. And then maybe the 3rd one is just a product you use, but you're not saying the product, but you're like, hey, if you want more info on this product, I'm happy to share how it's been able to help me and others. Right? Like, so you just have these little brand pillars like coming off. Wealth can be.
I have a question. Can I stop you for a second? So when you're doing this, so, social media has changed so much in the last, like even 2 years.
Right.
And I know you use Facebook and a lot of people are, do you suggest, and a lot of people struggle with the TikTok Reels thing, but is it, do you have to do these things on Reels, or should you be doing, is Facebook Live still a thing? I mean, do we even suggest that anymore for brands? You can do YouTube, that's long form, but do you suggest even jumping, if like Facebook's your demographic, or, YouTube is one thing, TikTok is one thing, we understand those platforms. So let's just say Facebook. Live's good, bad. Do Reels instead, make them short and sweet, share the value that way, long format post. What do you think are some of the best ways to move forward for somebody who's maybe just using Facebook and moving forward with that?
And getting started.
Facebook gets a bad rap because I actually think there's a lot to be had on Facebook.
I think that Facebook Lives are still a thing. I don't believe they're gone. I don't believe they'll ever be gone. And Facebook Lives are good because it's your longer form content if you're doing about 10 minutes. But the cool thing is you could take it and you could chop it up and you can create your reels from that one piece of content or in your stories. I really like stories. I think stories are really cool. I have a lot of people that show up because, they're at the top there and people are kind of just scrolling through. But if you're doing a story, you want to make sure that first image is a captivating style image, like where it stands out a little bit more because people are going to be like, oh, what's that? So either it's a funny face or an object or a bright color. So I've seen that with stories work really, really well. Whenever I post like a little before and after transformation, those always get seen a lot. I also really like
it's a story, right? It's a story.
Yes,
you're sharing
it's
a story.
A story.
People love stories.
I don't really do reels because I don't have reels on my personal page. Thank you, Facebook. I don't know how because I'm consistent with content. There's no rhyme and reason. So I do have them on my fan page. And we were just talking about this before we started the podcast, is my fan page is, okay, so when I first came online to build my brand, I was very nervous about doing Facebook Live. Very, very nervous. So I started a business page, which is also AKA a fan page. So if I say fan page, business page, it's a Facebook page. You have your personal account and you have a page. I started literally a fan page just so I can create videos because I was so nervous about doing a Facebook Live. So nervous. And I was like, okay, I didn't die. Like, that was good. I think my first Facebook Live was 6 minutes. And then I started figuring out pages, and then people started to show up to the page and they were following my content. Little by little, this page grew to 52,000 followers. And I was like, okay, wow, that's crazy. And so I used to do a lot on my business page. The last couple of years, I kind of ignored the business page because then, people were screaming TikTok and this and that. And so now, just a few months ago, I went back to my business page and it is like out of control right now. And so what I say that I from what I understand is they're now favoring Facebook business pages again. And I was just talking about this with someone, and they were saying that like Gary Vee says that that's the number one thing right now is to do. So here's the thing. Listen, because like our heads can turn. I mean, who would have thunk it? You know, people were screaming Facebook groups because Facebook pages were dead, you know, and so, and then there was the TikTok. You have to pick a lane because you will go and drive yourself absolutely crazy. I stopped at TikTok when I started. I'm like, why am I going against my gut? Why am I going against my intuition? Why am I going against what I don't want to be doing right now? And so, just because her over here, she's having, you know, big success. She's got 1 million followers. Blah, blah. And let me tell you another thing. It's one thing if you have followers. It's the next thing if you have followers that pay, that
That's
spend
right.
money.
It doesn't matter.
Okay?
You give 1 million followers. If none of them convert, nobody cares. I'd rather have 10,000 followers and a bunch of them buying.
Exactly. Like we only need 1,000 true fans to create $1 million business,
Yeah, we'll
right?
say that
And
again because people need to hear this.
you
I think
only
people get
need
stuck on this.
1,000 true fans. Like there's an article or a book out there about this. 1,000 true fans to create $1 million plus business. So if
So
you think
stop
on
chasing the
7
virality
billion
because it's
people
not
in the
going to get
whole
you
world,
paid.
yeah. If you think, you know, if you go, oh my God, well, there's 7 billion people in the whole world or whatever, you know, 1,000 people, I could have 1,000 people in my world. So it kind of makes you think about it on a level where you're like, okay, I could do this, right? But yeah, so we could drive ourselves bonkers, but literally for me, this is what I stick to. I stick to my personal profile. I post different there than how I post on my fan page. I will say that they're two different posts. I play around with my content. If I see something that gets crickets, I know it doesn't work. If I get something that has, you know, good feedback, I know it works. Keep doing this. And that's what I've done. Because 3 months ago is when I went back to my business page and I'm like, I was laying in bed one night and I grabbed my phone and I don't know what made me think of this. I swear to God, I'm laying on my phone. I'm like, I went to my business page. I'm like, I haven't posted there in a while. I'm going to put a post up. And it was just like something I was thinking of. And it was just a colored background, a Facebook colored background. You know how we could choose the colors. And it was just an inspiration type of thing, whatever. Don't even ask me 11 o'clock at night. In the morning, it had 500 likes and 60 shares. I went, what the what? And so I contacted my VA and I'm like, okay, this is crazy. This just blew up. Is this a fluke? So I said, let's just keep posting here. And I do a majority of the posts on my fan page. Once in a while, she'll throw up like 1 or 2 posts to help me out to just stay consistent. But in the last 3 months being consistent, I mean, it's insane what I'm seeing. And these people are engaging with me. Like I'm having conversations with them because of things that I am posting. Some posts are leading to conversations. So I am now focused there, my personal page and my stories. That's it.
So, I mean, looking back, Sandy, and I don't know about you, you have 5 things that you've touched on that I think are really, really, for me, have stood out. Stay consistent, pick a lane, be authentic, provide value, and build relationships. And so would you say those are like 5 of the main things that you think people really need to like dig into to create that influence? I think people think influence is something different than it is. So I've always thought, like, I'm not going to lie, when I first met you, you and I had these conversations, and I thought you had to have like a bazillion followers to have influence. And I realized really quickly, like, you're influencing people every day, whether it's your kids, your husband, the person at the store, like you're influencing. So picking those kind of pillars are a good place for people to start when they're overwhelmed. Because I think, like you said, a lot of people are really more focused on followers, they're more focused on selling, they're more focused on aesthetics, like, oh, my colors, like start with these things.
Yeah,
And then go from there.
Yeah, it's a recipe for success if you want to be an authentic influencer. That's an authentic
Show up
influencer.
authentically. Right.
And I think that's what
Show
sets
up
you
authentically.
apart for other people who are really, really successful, in my opinion. Like I look at the people that I follow that are even big influencers, like Gary Vee, let's say. Like I find him, he's authentic. I mean, he drops an F-bomb every 5 seconds. Mel Robbins, I love her because she's super authentic to who she is, good and bad, you know, and
Right.
she talks how you would talk to her, right? I
Right.
feel like there's that level of what you've explained. They build relationships, you feel like you know them, and they provide a ton of value to you. And so
Yeah.
you want to naturally gravitate, follow, and purchase from them.
Yes. 100%. I believe it is. And the reason I want to like make a quick point on your video, the video, we were talking about Facebook Lives and is that so important? That is how I built my brand the fastest, was Facebook Lives. And I know now we have YouTube, or well, we've always had YouTube. I know that there's YouTube, but Facebook Live was just what felt comfortable to me when I was showing up. But I think it grows so fast doing Facebook Lives is because that creates that faster, because you're hitting all the sensories, right? The visual, the kinesthetic, the auditory, like you're hitting all of it at one time. So when I would show up, or people fill out applications, I show up on calls, or if they would message me and I'd message them that back, like I would get that, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's you, like factor. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't believe it's me? Like, you know, they couldn't believe that they were talking to me because they, you know, it was like creating that celebrity brand or what have you.
Mhm.
It's because I was doing so many of the Facebook Lives and the videos and creating that authority. And that was the reason why. And that's why I will say, like, Facebook Live is not dead. It will never be dead. You create it and then you could chop it up and you can disperse it in your ecosystem wherever you're going to post. But I think having that long form content that you still share out is super valuable and important. Like, you don't do a 20-30 minute training, but even just still a 5-minute quick, like, here's my tips, or a 10-minute quick, you know, like they say on YouTube, your videos should stay, like, a good time is around a 10-minute mark, right? Like
7 to
going
10.
longer, you know, people, I mean, I know, my gosh, I am so busy. You're so busy. Sandy's so busy. We're all so busy. We don't have a lot of time to sit on the, and maybe I shouldn't speak for everybody. I don't have time to sit on an hour and a half training, 2-hour training, or even sometimes a 25-minute Facebook Live. Like, I like to digest my content. You know, I want it quick. I want it quick and impactful. And so I believe that that's why we are seeing now, you know, 10-minute time stamps for YouTube is a good 8 to 10 minute is what I've been told. But this is why shorts and reels and TikToks are taking off, just because it's short. But I get it, but don't just show up to show up intentionally and create content that is going to convert, you know, kind of reverse engineer.
Mm. Sandy,
What-
you just sent that really good article. So Sandy found this article. You want to talk about that article, about what they found in their statistics?
I'm drawing a blank.
Remember, you
Which
sent me an
article? I
article.
sent so many articles.
I have one question I don't want to forget, but you sent me an article and it was interesting. They took short form content against long form content, blogs, YouTube
Oh, yeah.
videos,
Mhm.
and they did the comparison, and they sold like one program via short form and like 62 people came through long
Yep.
content. Like,
Yeah.
it's just proof,
Yep.
guys. Like, the only what I think short form is really great is, like you said, is attention to the long form. Like,
Yep.
make it the intention grabber. Don't create it as the only form of content. I think people are getting so stuck with views and versus what's actually going to help them build their business. And
Yeah, it's an
long
attention
content is a
grabber.
little bit harder to do. It's a lot
too.
more work, but I do think that it's going to help you build a brand.
Yeah, don't get lazy. Like, branding is not lazy.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Listen, I know we all want,
I mean,
like,
don't lip sync for everything, guys.
Like
Oh my
instant
God.
gratification doesn't.
guys, no, you
That's
know, and
funny.
so you
Yeah.
have to have that long form content. It is important. It's important to have a mixture. And I think that the short form is like a snippet into your brand and who you are. That's all.
Yeah.
It's just a snippet, but people
Attention
are
grabber.
there. Yep. The people want the long form.
On Facebook Lives, I do have one question because our audience probably is going to ask us or think this. Where should somebody be doing those? Because now we have professional profiles that are like our regular profiles. Or should we be actually doing them on a business page? Do you say like, you know what? No, to get a business page, a fan page, whatever we want to call it, and do them there and build that out? Or should they, if they have a following on their personal page, like a small following, now you can have followers, should they be maybe doing them there or both?
So you could do, you could StreamYard and you could StreamYard to both.
Oh, that's a good idea. You could just
Yeah.
double
Yeah,
down.
that's what I
Double
was
down.
thinking.
But I also started on my fan page, and you had to be really careful, because if you are going to be talking about business and leading people somewhere, like Facebook doesn't like that on your personal page. That's why it's your personal page. You're allowed to do that on your business page. So they could shut down your personal page.
Even though it's like a professional business page and we can see like insights now, they still won't.
Oh, I hate those pages. I don't like those pages at all. So let's just say that, like,
Okay.
I don't like that how they're set up. I went to someone's page, I remember this, and I was trying to figure out how to message her, and you have to go into a different area. Like there was like these 3 little buttons, like to figure out how to message her. I'm like, what is this? And then it was an automated bot response, and I'm like, oh no, what is it? Because I was thinking about changing my personal page to that, and I just keep mine separate. I have a business page, I have a personal page. So I don't know what that other one is, but I feel like, and I didn't even message her because I'm like, I couldn't even figure out where the messenger button was on this girl's page. I'm like, what is this? You know,
that's a good actually, point, because a lot of people aren't techie and they'll be like, just forget it. I can't deal with it.
I did. I hacked off. I'm like, I don't know where her message is. And then one person, I did end up finding it, and I ended up going in her message. I'm like, why does your profile look like this? And I didn't even know that this thing came out. And I'm like, I'm getting some automated bot response. And anyways, I keep it separate. I always did them on my business page because I wanted to reach a larger audience. And my personal page, you're only allowed to reach so far. When you post on a public business, when you're posting on a business page and it's a public page and you're creating the content, it's going to attract in the right people if you're doing it the right way. And this is how you're brand building, right? And so I liked utilizing the business page personally. And then, like I said, chopping up my content and then dispersing it through stories and different avenues. However, you could do it through StreamYard. I just don't know if you use StreamYard, if you're still getting the same reach if you were just going to go live on your business page.
Yeah.
I will say
That's
that.
true.
It's
hard to say because I don't know
something to test
on that.
Yes.
Something to test, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be honest, I don't believe it is. But again, it's just from what I have seen when I was doing like dual live interviews with people, I was using StreamYard, and I didn't feel the reach was as good as when I was just doing them straight to my business page.
That's good to know.
Oh,
and what you're seeing a lot
reels
is you're seeing a lot of business page reels pop up in the feed. Like that's what you're seeing mostly when you scroll now.
Yeah, wait, real quick, because my 45-year-old brain will lose this. So real quick, another thing you could do is when you are going live, you could share it to your personal page and say, hey, come over to my fan page and watch my live content.
That's a great point. I think that's really smart, because then you're getting people to the other one where you can sell more, and you don't have to be as personal.
And you can.
I think that's a great point. I used to poo-poo that, but that was back in the day when I thought you had to use profile was better to use your profile. But the more and more we've actually talked about it, like we're like, we got to get our professional page going. We've been using a group, but we're like, we really need to start working through our professional page.
You sure do.
Yeah. I think you had a good point, and because a lot of people, they chase what is the newest thing. And I think I have really never liked that. Well, this is in and this is in. And I've really never resonated with that. I'm like, go with what? I don't care if TikToks are in. I don't care if Instagram is in. Go with whatever works for you. I've never really been one of those to jump on the newest wagon, because to me, and I believe, and what I hear you say is, it doesn't matter what it is as long as you're consistent. And that's really it. The consistency is the number one piece wherever you show up.
A lot of us, Sandy, like, and if you guys probably agree, like we know in our gut when we're doing it, if it feels wrong and it feels not uncomfortable, like I don't want to do this, but just doesn't feel good, then it doesn't probably for you. Like I tried the TikTok route and I felt like I was pushing a wall because I didn't like doing it.
Right. This is same here. I mean, look at the same thing happened when Clubhouse came around,
Oh,
and
mhm.
people were like,
that was a
Yeah.
one
looking
and
at me.
done.
I mean, they're like, get on Clubhouse. I'm like, why? Why do I need to be on this thing now in these different rooms, wasting more of my precious time that I don't have a lot of to just sit here and listen to this? Like
Yep.
I no, I
And those rooms
don't.
went on for a gazillion years.
I know. And
Oh,
IGTV.
TikTok
Yep.
sooner or later will
Exactly.
get old. It'll get too
Yep.
expensive or something, and then there'll be a next one to get on, and the next one.
Right.
It's like I think
And
Facebook
I
is a
just read an
staple.
article this morning that TikTok, they may shut TikTok down again. It's being talked again because China is taking all the information.
Yes.
So there's a lawsuit going on right now. So they're actually saying that there's a very good possibility that TikTok in America is going to go away. I mean, is it going to go away or not? We don't know, but it's always this, just go with, and don't just try to jump on the wagon.
Which wait to the point. Oh, this is flowing so good. I love it. So to that point, Sandy, real quick, please, if you're listening to this, listen, open the ears. You want to create an email list because none of us
Yeah.
own these social platforms. I mean,
reach.
please.
Yeah.
So you want to have the system set up in your business. You want to have some sort of lead funnel in your business so you can start building your list, so you can communicate with people. I mean, I know people that had their Facebook account shut down, their TikTok's account shut down with like a ton of people did not have any of their information. Did not. So like we
Yep.
don't control that. We control our list. Our list is our real estate as business owners. So you have to be smart about it. So that
Agreed.
is another point I had.
No, I'm glad
We
you
can
brought
have a
that up
whole
because
nother podcast
that's
on
a
it
so
because
important, right?
Julie's like the queen of
Yeah.
automation. So we could bring her back for a whole nother conversation around just automating correctly
Oh
and
my gosh.
understanding that because it's so, I mean, you taught me that.
Yeah.
I mean, I met
Oh,
her 3
friend.
years ago and she taught me, she's like, you need a list. I'm like, what? Like no one had ever
Why I'm a
taught me that. And
strategist.
network marketing, just, talk to your warm market and DM them. And I'm like, she's like, no. She's like, that's part of it. You need a list. I'm like, oh my God. Then I mean, I feel like that's something that's not talked about for any business. If you're
No.
a network marketer, your coach, a small business, you all need something to bring your people in and own that so you can remarket, retarget. Doesn't matter if you're a pest control business, right? Like
No.
provide value. Like
Well,
I
we
think
saw that a
so
couple
many
years
businesses-
ago when Instagram went down, right? When Instagram went down, I remember, and that's when it was Instagram and Facebook, but Instagram shut
Oh
down
yeah,
for like a day, and
people
people were
behind.
freaking out. I remember I was in Europe, I was on a train, and I'm like, what? It's like,
I mean,
yeah.
imagine all those influencers on Instagram that are not building like a list and they're just sending people to their LTK links, or like to whatever. Yeah, like the like to know it. Yeah, links. And they're affiliate links, but they're not, and they have, 650,000 followers. Like that in Instagram shuts down. That's crazy. Like you're ground zero. You're back to ground zero.
Yeah.
You're done. You're
Yeah.
finito. Like
Exactly.
that's
Or
it.
someone hacks you, but worse. I mean, they have people that come in and hack the accounts and then they take them over and now you can't have it back.
Yeah.
Guys, this is
Exactly.
real. You don't have any, you don't own that anymore. Now someone else owns it,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, it's scary. So I just had it that's another branding pro tip of mine. I guess we could call these all my branding pro tips because of what to do and what not to do. Because I stand firmly in that. You have to have a
Yeah.
list. And this is why I am a business strategist. I'm not a coach. For so long people would be like, oh, can you coach me? I'm like, no, you want coaching, you have to go find yourself a coach. I am a business strategist. I am all about systems and automation and like reverse engineering your business and helping you gain clarity around your business model and then putting it all together. I just finished it. I just relaunched my Freedom Designer workshop. Like I just relaunched like my lead magnet, my lead funnel, my low price product. I wrote all my emails, all the automation. Like there is a lot that goes into it, but once it's done, it's done. Like, yeah, you might have to tweak it every now and then, but it's done. Like, do you want to have a business that you're just guessing at, or do you want to have a business that is predictable? You know,
I like that.
Quote.
Yeah, that's a good
you know,
one.
write down all my quotes, Monique.
We'll have
Well,
like
little
the
quote
Julie
book, Julie
Burke
Burke
vault
quote
of
book.
good mic drops, right? That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Well, Julie, I have to say, like, thank you so much for taking the time today to speak to our listeners. And guys, again, you can find her at thefreedomdesigner.com. Grab her freebie. Make sure that you do subscribe to our podcast. We bring the goods for entrepreneurs every single week. We really are out there hoping that you build a better business and you tap into systems and organizations and structures so that you can have a more profitable business and enjoy your life a little bit, like she said, you know? So
Have fun, right? That fun aspect.
exactly.
Yes.
Sandy, any parting
Always.
thoughts or words for our listeners today?
I hope you got as much value out of it as I did, because Julie, that was fascinating. It was super interesting, and I really, really am grateful for you because I know you're busy. We're all busy taking the time to
Yeah.
speak to us and our listeners and educating us a little bit on the importance of branding,
Yeah.
personal branding. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. You guys, it was awesome. I had so much fun. You guys are great. I love the free flow. I loved how that just went because it was perfect. But you know
Yeah.
what? It was also impactful because business owners, they need this information. They, I'm sure,
Mhm.
desire this information. So thank you for your podcast. I'm super excited for the two of you and your growth as well. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Julie.
Thanks, guys.